Canada is officially fucked. The economy, the housing crisis, cost of living, and if you're not making at least $10,000 a month here in Canada, you're screwed. Or we're screwed. You know, millennials and Gen Zs, we are beyond screwed. Now, I know on this channel we talk a lot about Tesla and how it's a great investment long term and how I'm all in into Tesla stock, but I gotta take a minute and talk about this because I'm in Canada right now, and as you guys know, I travel between Kuwait and Canada, and this year is different. It is very unaffordable this year, and the way how I see Canada going forward, it's absolutely scary. And in this video, I'm going to be addressing that, really what's happening here in Canada, why I do think the economy of Canada is screwed for decades to come. So if you're a Canadian, this video gets really juicy and you can relate big time. But if you're just here to see if there was any Tesla content or not in this video, there won't be. I'm just going to be talking about how pretty much Canada is screwed. So I totally understand if you want to skip this video and wait till the next one, because I do have a lot of Tesla videos in the pipeline. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about Canada and how f***ed it is. So if you guys are ready, smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. This is gonna get pretty darn ugly. So I always knew that the housing market here in Canada was always very expensive. In 2018, 2019, you know, close to $1 million homes, 1.2, 1.1, 800, 900,000. This was always the case. Housing in Canada has always been expensive, but it wasn't impossible. This year, I'm seeing homes close to 2 million, and it's just, it's a small little bungalow for about almost 1.5 to 2 million. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, how can anyone possibly in our generation who's working a 9 to 5, who has a $50,000 income, $40,000 income, can even put a down payment for that? This year, housing has gone through the roof to the point that I can't even afford a home.
But Pejjy, man, you have so much in Tesla stock, man. You can just sell and, you know, buy a home with that.
Oh man, I wish. But I can't even do that. If I go ahead right now and sell my entire Tesla stock portfolio, well, first of all, not only do I demolish my long-term investment goals, but I still can't afford a damn home. The average home in the GTA here in Toronto is north of $1 million. And to get a mortgage on that, you need to have an income north of $200,000 for an $800,000 home. How can I make $200,000 a month? Sorry, not a month, a year. I am not even close to that. That's ridiculous. I don't think you guys understand what the criteria here in Canada is when you want to get a home. You get the down payment of 20-30%. Great. What's your income? If it's not over $200,000, you're not getting a mortgage. Doesn't matter how much down payment you put. Heck, if you put 60-70% down payment, yeah, you could probably get something. But if you want to get straight from the bank, good luck. And with the interest rates today of 7% plus, nope. No thank you. I cannot. That is going to be the worst financial decision of my life. Now, however, though, if this was the US, I could probably buy 2 or 3 homes because homes in the US are extremely cheaper. We got to find out how we got to this point. And that's how I'm going to start off this video with, because I think it's very important on how we got here so we can understand it from the root. And this all started back in 2008. You see, guys, back in 2008, here in Canada, we didn't get impacted in the financial crisis. Unlike the US, where they had a massive housing bubble crash, they had unemployment through the roof. Here in Canada, we didn't face any of that. In fact, it was smooth sailing for the most part. I remember in 2008, I was working in a gas station, and things were normal. People were still employed. People were not panicking. It was really a good time for 2008 here in Canada. Yes, we did had a little bit of a 10%, 20% decline in homes, but overall, we had a strong economy. We were booming. Unemployment rate was less than 8%. Inflation didn't peak past 4%. All the banks were stable and strong. They didn't ask for the government to get bailed out or anything. We were very good. We were actually one of the only nations on the planet that didn't really get impacted in the financial crisis. This real estate bubble or housing bubble that everywhere was popping, it did not pop in Canada, but that's where the issue lies. You see, Canadians and foreign investors, which we'll talk about that later in the video because this is a major point of why we have a high housing crisis, but Canadians and real estate and foreign investors, they saw that, hold on a second, everywhere around the world their housing market is popping. Canada is not. They saw Canada as a place where you can have your money invested in real estate and it'll be immune to crashes. And with that kind of thesis, money started to pour in more and more into the real estate sector in Canada right after 2008. With the confidence and certainty that the housing market here in Canada is immune and will never go down, and when you slap on a 0% or a near 0% interest rate, free money, everyone started to buy real estate. And I mean everyone, including foreign investors. Just some quick history, guys. Back in 2008, 2007, the average single detached home, which would be around 25 square foot, went for 400,000 Canadian dollars. Today goes for almost 2 million. I mean, that's crazy. That's actually more return than the S&P 500. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the main problem started happening when foreign investors started to take a lot more interest in investing in real estate homes here in Canada. They started to see that investing in the real estate market in Canada as a good way to park your money, especially Asian people, specifically Chinese people. They saw Canada as this wonderful place that's like the US but friendlier, but when you do invest in the real estate market, it never goes down and you're immune to it. And with that logic and with that thinking, that's where the money started to pile in, mainly from Chinese people. And that's what started happening from 2008 or 2009 and onwards. But at the same time, something else was happening that was pretty bad, extremely bad. I mean, this is just terrible. I mean, this just makes Canada even more unsustainable than it is at the moment. You see, unlike the US, where a lot of capital gets invested in innovation, companies, businesses, development, all in the purpose of increasing productivity and economic growth, in Canada, that's not the case, at least until recently. Before I even go to the chart and show you what I mean, I want you guys to ask a question. If you're Canadian, just answer this in the comment below. I really want you guys to just comment down below what it is. What major Canadian company owned by a Canadian owner, that the brand is international, that's actually Canadian? Did you say Tim Hortons? Well, guess what? Tim Hortons is bought out by Restaurants Brands International. It's a US company. But no, comment down below. Let me know what company, Canadian company, that's owned by a Canadian that's internationally well known. There isn't many, because every time when a Canadian company or a Canadian owner makes a company, it gets sold to a US company. It's frustrating. Now, take a look at this chart. I gotta give a shout out to Debuckles Economics for putting an awesome video explaining the exact situation of Canada. You guys can check out the video here in the card in the corner. Awesome video, right at the point, but I do use his graph here. Just look at the chart. Investment into housing has surpassed investment into businesses and innovation in Canada. So we are not seeing innovation in Canada as much anymore. This chart is telling us that we are just seeing people pile money into real estate because it's safer and gives more of an ROI. This is crazy and insane because we're in a massive housing bubble that just won't pop. This is getting very unsustainable. You're having money and investments go into a real estate market rather than innovation and business, where you create opportunities, you make jobs, you increase wages, where all this can result of individuals making more money and hopefully can afford a home. Unfortunately, Canada is becoming a place where it's better off for you to go in a different country, make your money then, not pay as much taxes, and bring the money here in Canada and buy a real estate or two or three, just like what foreign investors do. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And don't get me started on taxes, because this is just something. Canada pays one of the most taxes in the world when it comes to their citizens. It's just ridiculous with the taxes, but that's a whole different video. Right now in Canada, everything is expensive. You know, cars, groceries, housing, cost of living, anything you can think of is extremely expensive. And the biggest one by far is the housing crisis. Housing is so expensive here, and we can blame the foreigner investors for that. And yes, we're going to get into that right now. So I hope you guys smash that like button and you have that popcorn ready, because foreign investors, we're coming for you. Or at least this video is coming for you. This part of it is going to come for you, because you have a big blame at this part. You see, guys, here in Canada, we have a big supply and demand problem when it comes to housing. And big part of that is, again, the foreign investors. What they do is they come to Toronto, or they don't even come to Toronto. They actually never put one foot on Canadian soil. They just buy it from abroad. But they buy the property there in cash, no mortgage. They buy the property, they leave it vacant. It's empty. There's nobody living there. And I don't know why they don't do this. At least if you're gonna buy a property, open it up for rent. So people who are renting here, there's more competition. Rent won't be $4,000 or $3,000 per flipping condo, which is absolutely ridiculous here. But that's what they do. They buy the property and they leave it vacant. They park their money. If it's property tax, they'll pay for it. If it's, I don't know, utilities or whatever it is, they pay for it. They just leave the place empty. And that takes away from supply while demand keeps going up and up and up. And then you have places where you want to rent that's over $3,000 a month. You have homes over 2 million that shouldn't be even 1 million. It's crazy. And the government ain't doing nothing about it, which is really frustrating. This is so wrong and unfair on so many levels that this should be a criminal. It really should be. You should not be getting a home and leaving it vacant. At least you should do is rent it out. At least that should be a rule here. If you're gonna buy a home and you're not there, you should have to pay a freaking vacancy tax, 50%. Let's just do that. This will help so much in supply. Or heck, that shouldn't even be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed. It's really, really messing with the supply and obviously and the demand. So this idea of getting a place and keeping it vacant should be flipping illegal. It really should. It should at least be up for rental. At least. And the crazy thing is, the government knows this. They are well aware that 15 to 10% of all the condo units in downtown Toronto, maybe even more, are empty. You know how much rent will decrease or at least not go up 30% every single month or every single year here in Toronto if those were available for rent? It's honestly a criminal, and the government should really do something about it because it's really, really frustrating. It increases the value of the home because there's less demand, less supply. There's more demand with less supply, so higher rent, higher. It's just not a good domino effect, and they must do something about it. I mean, guys, check out these condo prices. I went down to a local pre-construction condo place, and they gave me a list of the prices, and I'm just looking at these prices, and I'm just like, is this for a house or a condo? All right, so check this out. Here are the prices for condo, just pre-construction, not even just built, right? So we go one bed here, one bath, 477 square foot, almost $700,000. Let's go for another one. We got another one bed, one bath, a bit bigger, and we have $707,000. Let's keep going. One bed plus one den, walk-in closet, 764. Dude, what is this? $1 million. What is this? $1 million. 2-bedroom condo. 900 square foot for $1 million. Guys, this is all pre-construction price. As soon as this goes on the market, I think this will get built in the next 5-6 years. You can at least see these prices. What is this? $677,000. This will be close to $900,000. This will be upwards of 1.2 million. And these are condos. So, what is insane? It's absolutely insane. The cheapest one was $670,000. That's just a bedroom. Moving on. In Canada, the average salary is about $45,000 US dollar, while the average home is about $500,000 to $600,000 converted to US. That's 8 to 10 times your wage in Canada if you want to get a home. That is absolutely ridiculous. In the US, is about 2 to 3 times. So you can afford a home in the US. That's a whole lot easier. But in Canada, it's 8 to 10 times. How someone who just finished university that went to get a job that gets paid $100,000 a year, let's say, he needs to work 3 to 4 years to just get a down payment and then hopefully get a mortgage because you need $200,000 in income to get a mortgage. But God, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. We are so fucked here in Canada that I don't know how we're gonna fix this. I don't know how long or how many decades we need to fix this problem. I think we just need a massive recession here in Canada. A bad one, a terrible one, where it just slices everybody down so we don't have this thought that Canada is an immune place for real estate, unfortunately. Unless they make so much more in the next 2 years or so. But even the government here is not building as many homes as they need to, as they should. And that's not the end of it. We have more problems. Just this past year, we brought 1 million immigrants into the country. Now again, I am not against immigrants. I love immigrants. I'm one myself. But how are you going to bring 1 million people when you have a shortage of homes, when you don't have many jobs, and you don't know where we're going to put them? Where are we going to house them? How can they afford a home? If Canadians who are working every day can't afford a home, how can these guys afford a home? How can these poor immigrants that are looking for a better life and better opportunity come to a place where even their own citizens can't find a better opportunity? The general idea of bringing immigrants in the country is to shape up the country for the better. But how can they do that when they don't have a place to live, when they don't have an opportunity to work? Doctors are coming here and they're getting worked as a gas station or as a Walmart employee. They were a doctor back in their own country. Why can't they have some sort of a qualifications to be a doctor here? But no, they gotta go to Walmart and they gotta make that $15 an hour. Hopefully they can pay rent, if they can even get a place to rent. That's very reasonable. It's just ridiculous. So you know what's going on, guys? We're having a problem where we have no supply, very little supply of homes, big demand, current people in Canada. You're also going to bring 1 million people access to it, and you got foreign investors buying them all up and keeping it vacant, not even renting them out. You see the problem that we are in here in Canada? It's absolutely disgusting. It's not thought out through, and whoever is responsible for this needs to be kicked out. I'm sorry, but this is not the way to run a flipping country. This is so unsustainable that something eventually, if it doesn't break now or in the next 2 years, something has to break. If I was prime minister, if I was one of the guys and leader on top, I would say stop the immigration right now. Stop it. Make triple, quadruple the homes. Make as many homes as you possibly can. Condos, apartments, houses. Make as much as you want. Put more supply into the market. And let the people who are living in Canada right now get a home. Get something. Then we can slowly bring immigrants in. And not by the millions. How is it that we have a population of 40 million people? Or 39 million people just a couple years ago. A year ago. Now we got 40 million plus in just 1 year. That's a lot of people coming in that we don't have places for them. And majority of them, again, the idea for immigrants is to shape up the country in a better way. But yet, if they can't be placed in a home and if they can't get a job to sustain themselves, to support themselves, the opportunity they're looking for, they will go somewhere else. And that's happening already. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. This is so unsustainable. We Canadians here are extremely fucked. And in order to fix a situation like this, now again, housing is the biggest one. We got the other problems too. Like we got like the expensive cars, groceries, and taxes. Every year there's some new tax here in Canada, man. I don't know what. It's like the land of tax here. It's just ridiculous. But this situation is not sustainable. It's not. And I really hope, I don't know who's going to fix this problem. And whoever it is, it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen to Canada in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I just hope things get better. But unfortunately, in this situation, things need to get a whole lot worse. And I'm talking about economic ways. We need to go in a bad recession to fix this. We're going to tell those foreign investors that your money is not immune here. And you should not park your money here and keep things vacant. If you do want to keep it vacant, pay a tax of 50%. Hell, don't even do the 50%. Make it illegal. Make it in a way that they can't at least put it up for rent. At least the guy who is all in China can make an income, and the guy who's renting here is not as expensive as $3,000, $4,000. Everybody's a win-win there. There has to be some sort of a good change coming to these rules. Sooner the better. This is the main reason why I don't have a home here in Toronto or Canada. This home is a family home that we bought as a whole family like 2 decades ago, where home was affordable. Now, homes are not affordable, so we can't really get another one. I personally would have to go to a different province in the middle of nowhere to get a home. And I've been thinking about that. Maybe that's a better choice right now. I have no idea. But it's sad. You know, as a Canadian citizen, that's very sad that I can't even get a home in my own country. It sucks. It's not good. It's this is Canada today. It's a very difficult situation that we are in today. And this is my generation, right? Millennials and Gen Zs, we're pretty much screwed. I don't know how the next generation after that is going to survive here in Canada. It's going to be extremely hard for them. It's hard for us right now. I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to get a place and start a family and all that stuff, because it's just ridiculously expensive here. Again, there has to be some sort of a crash or a recession to drain all this thinking of immunity or a safe place to put your money and stuff like this needs to be drained in a way so we don't have so many vacant places here. Or at least the government should come in and put a huge vacant tax on places that have a property but it's empty, or just straight up make it illegal. Simple as that. So if I have one message to the Canadian government right now, please do something. Make Canada great again.